Whiskey 1, India Kilo, Mobile 8.
Well, good evening, Jim. WSOX, we're just getting ready to get the net started here. I got you checked in. And this is WSOX looking for early bird check-ins. Please call them with your call sign and name, please.
This is Kilo 4, Papa Yankee Alpha, K4 PYA, Robert in Clarkston.
KT7TT, Mark in Arizona.
W0SCA, Blake.
Alpha Charlie 8, Zulu Delta.
Walt.
VK4, Mike Sierra, it's Mel in Australia.
All right, let's hold it up there. It looks like we got a pretty good start here. W1IK, K4PYA, Robert, KT7TT, Mark, W0SCA, Blake, WB80, Walt, and Mal, VK4MSS. Did I miss anyone, or is there anyone else want to check in the net? Please come now.
Done. Alpha Charlie, that's Dave.
All right, let's hold up there. There was a John in there, and I didn't get your call sign. Can you try again, please? Okay, that time I got Kilo 8, Papa Delta Juliet, and AC8 Zulu Delta. Was there anyone else out there?
Yeah, this is W88E, Don.
Hey, Larry, this is KI8M, Gary.
Okay, that time, we got it that time. It was Don, not John. My hearing's terrible there, Don, and I apologize for that. But I got you down there. And KI8M Gary. So let's hold it up there and see what we can find out tonight. Anyone have a topic for discussion tonight?
Hey, let's talk about possibly, or think about talking about. This is K4 PYA, talking about winter weather, our remembrances, either coldest or warmest temps, or perhaps the largest single snowfall that you witnessed or were involved in, and just anything having to do with your remembrances of unusual events that you can remember having to do with winter weather. How about that?
Yeah, it sounds like a plan. I don't see why not. Let's go with that. Jim W1IK, how you doing this evening? And what was your experience in unusual weather in the wintertime? Over to you, Jim.
W8SOS net control for the Usika Thursday night C4 FM system fusion net here on the Zombie Alert Network. Good evening, Larry, and good evening, all aboard. This is Whiskey 1 India Kilo Mobile 8, Jim, currently in Roseville, Michigan, fueling the Volvo. Winter weather extremes, living in southeastern Michigan and for a while in the 70s, traveling in Canada, to some degree. There's been my share of cold and snowy weather, but it always seems difficult to put an exclamation point on any particular moment. I do remember some very cold weather, and I do remember some very deep snowfalls and some severe driving conditions, etc. But nothing specifically sticks out in my mind. There was an occasion when we were traveling to and from Toronto, Ontario, in the mid-90s. This probably would have been the winter of '96. And were my two older brothers and I think maybe another one or two young people might have been with us at pilgrimage, and we were on our way back from Toronto back to the Detroit area, and that vehicle that we were in was a 1968 Volkswagen WestJet Lancer bus, and it had no heat, and it was cold. It was the middle of winter, and it was the 401 out in the middle of nowhere, bleak, and the vehicle was surprisingly nimble in the snow, but no heat. So I remember having to work the ice scraper on the inside of the windshield so that my brother could see to drive at night. That was from the breath, the passengers and driver and the easing on the inside of the windows of the 1968 Westphalia camper van. But I don't know if it was the weather that was extreme or us. We made it home. With that, I'll send it back to net control. This is Whiskey 1 India Kilo. Mobile 8, Jim in Roseville, Michigan.
Okay, Jim, very good. Thanks for checking in there, and hopefully, a nice little story there. But move on to our next one, K4PYA, Robert. Your question. What was your story about the unusual weather during the winter months? So what do you do, Robert?
Okay, W8SOX, this is K4PYA, Robert, in actually Independence Township. I identified myself as being in Clarkston. Well, I'm really outside of Clarkston. Anyhow, I have a story that having to do with the warmest temps in the weather. I got invited by Uncle Sam to have a tour in Southeast Asia in 69, 70. You probably know where I'm going with this, and I'm specifically talking about South Vietnam. And actually, we had no snow there, and it may have gotten down cool at night. And I'm talking in the probably the low to mid 50s, but that was a winter where I did not see any snow. Concerning the largest single snowfall, and the reason this stands out so well, and I don't know how this hit Michigan, but in January 1978, we had a 2-week-old baby just come home from the hospital. We were living in Dayton, Ohio, and we had a 28-inch snowfall. And as it turned out, it pretty much paralyzed the state of Ohio, and they had to call out the National Guard to help move the snow. And I remember the morning that I went outside thinking that I was going to work, and I had a driveway that I needed to shovel. And when I got out at the end of the driveway, I turned around, and it seemed like there was about as much snow had fallen while I was shoveling as I had shoveled away. So I don't think I went to work that day. So that's my two stories having to do with extremes or winter weather that I have experienced. This is K4PYA back to W8SOX.
Oh, very good, Robert. Yeah, it's funny how all the things you can remember on that day. But, yeah, 28 inches of snow is unusual, but it doesn't happen all the time. And, gosh, I think about it now, and I'm thinking, we haven't had a good snowstorm here in a while, and I think we're due for one, so we'll see what happens there. Thanks, Robert. Thanks for the question and checking in here. And we'll move on down the list out to Arizona. KT7TT, Mark. How you doing? Any unusual winter stories for you? Over to you.
W8SOX. Well, hold on, guys. I just got the call for dinner. I'll try to check in later on in the net, like about 5:30 or so. So, anyway. Bear with me. I'll be back. KT7TT.
Okay, then, Mark. Yeah, totally understandable, but we'll be here when you get done there. All right, let's move on down the list to WC0SCA Blake. I'm sure you got some unusual winter stories under your belt there. Over to you there, Blake.
Well, there's everybody on the net. I think the most, outside of your big snowstorms, I think probably the most unusual or extreme winter weather that I can recall was pretty recent. Here in the Front Range of Colorado on December 30th. Here in this 2021, very typical weather. Actually, they started very typical. High winds down on the plain, down in the Denver Boulder area. Wind gusts of 115 miles per hour, which is pretty high. Not unheard of, but pretty high. Just a sunny day, 60 degrees and high winds, and then a fire started. And the fire spread pretty quickly, as you can imagine, in those kind of winds. The embers or, puddles of fire spotted over a mile. And you probably heard about the fire. It took out a good part of Louisville, Colorado, and a good hunk of Boulder County. That's probably the craziest, most extreme thing I have ever heard of. I actually ended up down there working on the incident management side, which is what I do for wildfires here in the West. I'm a contractor for those, and no one's ever seen anything like that. Other than that, big snowstorms had, I get your occasional, maybe twice a year, you'll get a snowstorm with 3 or 4 feet of snow. Just, brush off the car and go down to work. We've been lucky around here in that most of our snow is pretty fluffy and pretty dry, so it just kind of, just blows away and just kind of does its thing. It's, even though you might have snow or you're bottoming out your truck going down the road, it doesn't affect it that much. But we had a couple good snowstorms. Had a last winter. This we've only had about maybe, I think the biggest snowstorm we've gotten so far. Anyways, that's it. Back to net. W0SCA.
Okay, Blake, very good. Kind of a neat little story there. I agree about what the snow's like out there. It can be a little treacherous sometimes. All righty. Thanks, Blake. We'll move on down the list to Walt, WB80. Walt, you got any unusual winter weather stories? Over to you.
W8SOX, WB80. Thank you for running the let, Larry. Robert, a real good topic. I do remember those snowstorms you're referring to, Robert, because I was working at Sears Roebuck, and the department I worked in, we sold the snowblowers. And in the 70s into the 80s, that was the only source of income in January and February, and you can almost be guaranteed in March you get hit with a bad one, but by then we're out of snowblowers, of course. And I do remember those days, and I had to park at the end of my block. My street got just, your cars would bottom out because the snow was so high in the streets and the ruts were so deep, you couldn't park there. The good news is I did once, my son said, Dad, why don't you stay here with me and let Mom go back? She can go to work. And it was a rough decision, but I did it to make my son happy. January, February, and March on the island of Kauai. It was rough. It was rough. Now, having said that, I looked out it was a great winter because Hawaii is not in the South Pacific. A lot of people don't know that. It's in the North Pacific. You can have a horrible winter there with rain, torrential floods washing down in the mountains. I'm not exaggerating. I lucked out. That was really beautiful. Of course, the weather we're having now, the ice fishermen are real happy, very happy. People can go ice fishing, which is a big sport here in the Metro Detroit area. And, Robert made mention about being in South Asia. Well, I was in North Carolina in the South, and the humidity there killed me. The humidity killed me. And then when we went to the American Virgin Islands, that is even horrible. The humidity there is horrible. It just made your skin peel. So, good weather, adverse weather, snow, heat, whatever you want. Fortunately, I've been around long enough to witness all of it. Back to net, WB80.
Okay, Walt, yeah, very good. Yeah, it must have been a real tough decision to make that call to go to Hawaii there, but, darn it anyways. I hate when those tough decisions come up there, so, oh well. Glad you had a good time anyways. I remember you making a few contacts from there too as well, so, or talking about it, so. Anyways, all right, that was Walt. Let's move on down the list to Mel in Australia, VK4MSS. Good evening, Mel. It's been a couple of weeks since I talked to you, but hope you're doing well. And, gosh, do you have any unusual winter weather stories down there in Australia? Over to you, Mel.
Yeah.
W8SOX, this is VK4MSS. Yeah, good yeah, we're back on air. Didn't really die, I just sort of smell that way, I suppose. But yeah, I've had a bit of an apology, I suppose, not being around there quite consistently for the last few weeks. Let's just say that weather actually has a bit of a reason behind that. It's been stinking hot here in Charters Towers, this area of Australia. It is the arid zone desert area. Not really desert. I think we call it more of your tropical arid zone. It just doesn't rain, but it gets stinking hot. But yeah, being so hot, I've got any work that's got to be done around the place has to be done from whenever I get out of bed and get up and running, which is, around about 8 o'clock in the morning here. By midday, it's all over Red Rover. You just can't move around. You can't do any real work unless you're in air conditioning. So I miss nets in the morning because I'm doing things that have to be done. So there we go. And one of them, incidentally, is the motorsport facility out at Milchester, which is very close to town. And I'm very busy assisting a couple of associations out there with the monumental groundwork. But anyway, unusual weather. I don't know that any weather is unusual. It might not come around from time to time. But probably the worst would have been Cyclone Tracy in Darwin in Christmas Eve, 1974. I was at work that night. I went in early to relieve another man who was going to knock off work at midnight and return at 8 o'clock Christmas Day. And he wanted some time to prepare the tree and whatever, put all the prezzies out for the kids, you know the story. So I went in at 10 o'clock to relieve him. Yeah, and Cyclone Tracy arrived about 11 o'clock. And that was that. And I worked most of the night, well, at 3:30 in the morning before we gave it best and got off the streets ourselves. So that was probably the worst event. I'll just pull a Walt here. Hi there, Walt. I just bought some time. Yeah, the weather event was so bad, it took 12 months before there was any sense of normality. The town was totally destroyed. Very few housing type buildings were left standing. The big commercial buildings, by and large, stood up fairly well. But housing accommodation and all that sort of stuff, it really didn't exist. We evacuated most of the town. There was approximately 40,000 people living in the little city of Darwin at the time. And I had a wife and 3 kids at the time, and they and around 35,000 others were evacuated out of the town. It was just impossible for so many people to live there. No power, no water, no sewerage, you name it, we did not have it. And that went on for 6 months, and then things started to get a little bit normal in that area. So really, that's probably the worst weather event I've had to go through. I've been through other cyclones, but nowhere near as dramatic. So that's about it from this neck of the woods. I believe it's Larry. I've got a memory like a bucket with no bottom, so if I'm wrong, you can slap my wrist. But back to you there, W8SOX, Larry, I think. This is VK4 MSS Mal in Charters Towers, where we don't have cyclones. Back to you, Larry.
Okay, now that's interesting. No water, no sewage, no nothing. That's amazing. But brings back memories, that's for sure. But well, good deal. Yeah, I remember. I think the most unusual story I ever had was I was living down in Dallas, Texas at the time, and we had an ice storm come through. It got down to 13 below zero down there. And it was very, very unusual weather for Dallas. but not to say it doesn't happen. But it was 13 below there, and 2 days later, I had to catch a plane to come here to Detroit. And the problem was the side streets were still icy, and the freeways were somewhat clear. The airport was totally clear, and the planes were still taking off, and my flight was on time. So I had to leave extra early, but we got there, and I made it on the plane just in time. And I arrived in Detroit where it was a whopping 17 below zero. Just a few degrees difference from where I came from. So I really thought that I was like really shocked. That was 1983 too. So unusual weather at that time. It was around Thanksgiving too. So, but oh well, those were the times, I guess, and we'll see what Mother Nature has in store for us here in the coming months here. So with that, thanks, Mel. Let's move on down the list. K8PDJ. Any unusual winter stories for you? Over to you.
Hey, this is K8PDJ. My name is Dorian. I am in Ann Arbor. This is my first check-in to the net, and very happy to be here. I guess my winter story is I was in 6th grade for the Great Blizzard of '78, and I grew up in the snow belt in northeast Ohio. So most exciting thing to me about that was missing a lot of school. I remember staying home, just going outside and being amazed as a kid the amount of snow, and then it just blew like crazy. The snowbanks, and my friends and I would just go out there for hours and enjoy it. So yeah, that would be my biggest winter event. Besides coming home from a concert late one night on the Ohio Turnpike, and my girlfriend's little it was a Toyota Tercel, and did a complete 360 on the turnpike, and facing the other way was pretty scary. As we were going over a bridge, I just pictured us going over the side. So anyway, yeah, those are two of my winter stories. And back to net control, this is K8PDJ.
Okay, Dorian, thanks for checking in, and I do appreciate it. And interesting story there, yeah, especially on the turnpike. My gosh, that's no one likes to break down there. That can be quite hectic. So, anyways, well, very good. Thanks for checking in. We do have a second round here, too, Dorian. So if you're around, great. If not, but we understand. So with that, we'll move on down the list to AC8 Zulu Delta. Any unusual winter stories for you? Over to you.
I'm trying to think which one. I've got two of them. I got one where I had to go on a work trip to Chicago, and I had arrived there, and they just had a bad winter storm. There were no taxis to find, and I was looking for a taxi, and I was so exhausted just walking up and down the streets with luggage. The other one that is kind of more recent, I guess. Well, not really recent, but back in 2008, back when I was dating my wife before we were married, she was in Spain, and I was heading to the airport to go to Portugal to meet her, and everything got canceled, and I ended up having to stay at a hotel over by the airport because I didn't want to drive back. It was already like a 2 or 3 hour drive just to get to the airport in the snow, and like, I probably should have just waited until the next day, but, that's, I don't know, I was trying to meet her, I guess. But, yeah, that's all I've got for winter stories. I mean, I've had lots when we were kids. We don't get the snow like we used to back here in the Detroit area, so kind of miss that a little bit, but I don't miss it because I don't like shoveling it and clearing it. So, anyways, back to net. This is AC8ZD.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are getting that way. We don't mind the beauty of the snow, but don't want to shovel it either. So, all right, very good. Thanks for checking in, and let's go down the list to WAAE. Don, how you doing, Don? And any unusual winter stories, weather stories for you? Over to you.
Net Control, this is WAD. Yes, I have a ton of wind stories. I don't know where to start. But the one out in my mind, I was in grade school at the time, so that was a couple of years ago. And I remember the snow was at least 3 feet. We had this unusual snow, and I was in Detroit at the time. And I remember going out there, and it was up to the windows on the car. And I'd never seen that much snow at one time, and the whole city was paralyzed. And I remember we didn't have a snow thrower, nobody did. We got out our shovels, and we started just about tunneling to get rid of the snow. I don't remember a snowfall that heavy. I think it was in the 60s sometime, maybe 50s, late 50s, early 60s. But that was a snow that I can still remember, and I remember I went to grade school at the time. So I'll never forget that happened. And I have another one like that. Because the other day I was out there selling back memories. So there. That from WAA.
All right, Don. Very good. Yeah. I did hear stories of that before, of the people having that much snow. I think that, I don't know, let's say, I'm not too much older than you, I don't think, but I do remember a few snowstorms like that, but a lot of times I might have been too young to even go outside, but I do know there have been a couple of times. Heck, we used to bumper ski off of cars when I was in high school. One year I remember we had so much snow and we were wondering how we were going to get home, but a friend of mine grabbed the bumper and he made it home way before us. So, oh well, that's the way it goes. All right, Don, thanks for your story there and checking in, and we'll move on down the list. Gary, KI8M, how you doing tonight, Gary? And any unusual winter weather stories on your half? Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Larry, and good evening, everybody else on the net tonight. This is KI8M Gary in Washington Township, Michigan. I do remember 1964. I was a sophomore in high school, and we had so much snow. I was living in St. Clair Shores, by the way. Probably not too far from where you're living right now. But anyway, we had, I would say easily snowdrifts that were 3.5 feet. In fact, I have to dig out a photo that my mother took of me where I was shoveling the snow on the driveway of our house because my dad worked out there in the morning. School was closed down, and I had to get out there and clean the driveway. So if my dad could make it down the street, could get back home and go to bed because he had been working overtime. I think he started somewhere around 6 o'clock in the evening or something, and he was expected home by about 9:30, with roads being as bad as they were. Anyhow, that was my recollection, and it was there was no snow blowers back then. It was, just send the kid outside with the shovel and get her done. Back to you. By the way, this would be my once and done. We have some company pun this evening. So we'll say 7-3 to all. Back to net control, KI8M.
All right, Gary, very good. And thanks for checking in. Good to hear you. And thanks for your story there as well. All right, that's the bottom of the list. We're looking for more check-ins. Please come now with your call sign and name. This is W8SOX.
This is N8ZA, and the name is Chuck.
N8QPR, Don.
truck N8ZA, and then there was one other station that got covered. Try again.
EQ, Brenda.
Okay, was that N8AQ?
Alpha, Quebec, Brenda.
Okay, we got you there, Brenda. Thank you. Anyone else? Please come now. All right, we got you back in there, Mark. Very good. All right, let's go up the truck, N8ZA. And Chuck, tonight's topic is, what is your most memorable, unusual winter weather story that you might have? Over to you there, Chuck.
All right there, and good evening, everybody. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Larry, also N8QPR. I think he was checking in too. N8QPR. I think I got the call sign right. Forgive me, I can't remember your name. I think it's Don. Oh, I'm just horrible tonight, as always. But nice to be here, and nice to hear Brenda. Nice to hear Brenda out there. And, well, let me see. There's so many, like so many others have said, because I occupied a lot of winters ice fishing and stuff like that. But we were up in Pickley, and way up in Ontario, I don't know, 1,300 and something miles from the Detroit area, whatever, and it was like 40 below zero. And so we rented 2 snowmobiles, a trailer to tow them with, and a sled for the fishing gear for $65. What kind of deal is that, huh? Then we went 150 miles further, where there's nothing but nobody but the road, and no town, no gas station, no nothing, to go ice fishing, so on Windigo Lake. And so the propane was like liquid. It was like a flamethrower. But we set up our shanty, and we got in there, and we caught some walleye, we caught some sauger, and then it never felt so good to come back, but cold, and I mean, like I said, the propane was like frozen, and I tell you what, it was just a hell of an experience being that far north in that kind of cold weather, and still managed to catch a few fish and all that kind of stuff. It was so cold when we arrived there the first night. The people at the hotel told us to face our truck into the building and leave it running. So that's how cold it was. But it was really an experience. And there's been other times too with other things that went on, but I won't bore you with it. But a lot of little adventures there that I can look back fondly now. But if I thought about doing it again today, it'd be like, no. And of course, I think we had a blizzard in '78, didn't we? Something like that. I can remember just all the snow and everything shut down, and I think I barely had my driver's license then or something, and just trying to drive around and pushing people out and all that kind of stuff. Just all that went on. Anyway, Larry, thanks for picking up the net, doing such a fantastic job with everybody here. That's just incredible just to hear all their stories. And nice to hear Brenda. I'm glad that she's getting on the radio and checking into this net, so that is just awesome. Larry, back to you. N8ZA.
All right, dear Chuck, very good. Yeah, that sounds real cold up there. Something I probably wouldn't venture off to do now, but who knows? I was young and dumb one time too, so. But oh well, very good. Thanks for sharing that story. N8AQ, Brenda. If that's the Brenda I know, I didn't realize you changed your call sign, but good evening, Brenda. And gosh, I'm sure you've got an unusual winter story on your cap there. Go ahead there, Brenda.
Yeah, hi Larry. Doing a good job on the net there, and yeah, I changed it. Oh, I don't know when. I forget now. I've had it for probably going on a year now. But I remember in '65, I was in 6th grade. We had a big snow blizzard, and my mom was sick, and her friend woke me up like at 2 in the morning, saying, "Come to my house." And driving over to her house in the shores, you couldn't even see the snow was coming down so hard because they had taken my mom to the hospital. And got up in the morning, no school. My parents had a Ford station wagon, and the snow was up almost to the top of the doors. So that was quite an experience. Back to net control.
Yeah, I do remember winters like that. That's for sure. Yeah, it's certainly is different. You know, when that kind of snow comes and how everything just seems to shut down, and it almost seems quiet. Just they starting up the snow blowers today, but I imagine there weren't too many back then. But you know, now today, as soon as it starts to stop snowing, you start hearing the snow blowers, and boy, you can hear them for 3 or 4 blocks over. Very good, Brenda. Thanks for checking in, and good to hear you. And thanks for sharing your story there. All right, K7TT, or KT7TT, Mark. I think you heard the story, but go right ahead if you have an unusual winter story. Back over to you.
Thank you, Larry. W8SLX in the group. This is KT7TT Mark in Mesa, Arizona. And my stories will tell you why I'm living in Mesa, Arizona. Back in '64, I'm from Detroit originally. In January of '64, I had just graduated from high school, and I was accepted at a college up in Hancock, Michigan, which is right at the base of the Keweenaw Peninsula. And, you know, Detroit boy, we were used to some snow in the winter, and, you know, sometimes you'd have 18 inches, you know, and that was really a big deal. Well, boy, I went up to there to the Copper Country, and I found out what snow was really like. They averaged, every winter, the average snowfall was 450 inches. That comes out to like 37 and a half feet of snow. Well, that first year I was there, they ended up having 550 inches of snow, and that's like, what is it, like 45 or 46 feet of snow. So I found out what snow was really like. But anyhow, after I got out of that college, I transferred over to Northern Michigan and Marquette, and ended up liking that area so much I ended up moving there after I graduated. So no more Detroit or Warren. So we got up there, and I was on the police department, and Marquette's finest. And I was out in the winter of '78, '79, and I was walking a beat in downtown Marquette, and it was something like 47 degrees below zero. And I was walking in one of the alleys, and there was so much snow it had shorted out the power lines running the lights in that alley. So it was pitch dark. I'm walking along, and I had a 5-cell flashlight, and I dropped it into a snowbank, and I couldn't find it. It was pitch dark, and I thought, well, it's got to be here close. I was digging around and digging around. I finally saw a faint glow and dug towards it and found my flashlight. I got out of that alley, and I was going into another one right along the main street, and the guys come by in a patrol car and picked me up, so I sat in the back seat to get warm a little bit. they had the heater going full blast for 20 minutes, and at the end of 20 minutes, they said they could still feel the cold radiating off of me. And so after that, that's when I decided, after my parents had been telling me how nice Arizona was, I came out in January of '79 to visit, and I lasted a week out here. And the first thing I said to them when I got off the plane here is, I'm moving here, because it was 50 degrees. Well, I think you cut out there, Mark. Yeah, all I heard was it was 50 degrees. Was that the end of your transmission? It was 50 degrees in Phoenix when I got off the plane at the old number 1 terminal. I saw my parents. I said, I'm moving here. No more of that freezing. So that's why I'm out here, not there anymore. Okay, very good. I would probably make that same decision, but I'm not in a position to do it right now. I'd love to do it. We'll see what happens when I retire here. But, well, thanks for sharing that story, and thanks for checking in here again. And glad you could make it back on the way after dinner, too. So, all right. Chuck said NAQPR was out there, too. And my apologies, Don. It just seems like everyone was coming at once there, and I knew there were a couple of transmissions jumping on one another. So, NAQPR, Don, if you're still there, come on in and check in and give us your unusual winter story. Over to you, Don. Is anyone hearing Don? Yes, maybe Don will jump in here real shortly. That was the bottom of the list, and we're looking for more check-ins. This is W8SOX with the USECA Zombie Alert Fusion Net. Where all are welcome. Please come with your call sign and name.
Wrangler, and it was really bad. I'm like, I'm not driving all the way to Dearborn from Sterling Heights. So I turned around and went back home, and my dad was trying to go to work, and he is stuck in the driveway. He couldn't go either, so I ended up pushing him back in, and then tried to get out my HF radio, and Dad got it at Michigan Radio, and I ended up taking it back there to fix it days later, but I needed it the most. Back to net control.
Okay, Dan, we got most of that there. I think we doubled there for a second there. I didn't hear you at first, but you came in on the second half. So, but thanks for sharing that story. And I think maybe your location might be in question there. I think you're coming through the USECA repeater. And oh well, that's the way it goes. But we got the gist of the story there, Don. Thanks for checking in. All right, any other check-ins for USECA Zombie Alert Fusion Net? Please come down. All right, hearing nothing. I guess we'll move up to the top of the list again. And I know this weekend is Winter Field Day, and I'm actually looking forward to participating in it from home here. And hopefully I can make a few contacts with them as I go along here. But maybe that should be a second topic go around if you ever participate in Winter Field Day, and if so, are you going to do it this year? W1IK, W8SOX. W1IK, W8SOX. You still there, Jim? Okay, he must be eating dinner. Okay, Kilo 4, Papa Yankee Alpha, Robert. How you doing? Any final thoughts from the net? And are you gonna participate in Winter Field Day this weekend? Over to you.
Okay, this is K4PYA. No, I'm not planning to participate in Winter Field Day. I'm so far pretty new to the hobby, and really only the only equipment I have is VHF and UHF. So probably not a whole lot that I can do on Winter Field Day with that, I suspect. But I do want to bring to everyone's attention now that I've got the floor, and I've mentioned this on previous Zombie Alert Network nights, that the Hazel Park Amateur Radio Club is running an extra class course right now. It's about to finish up, and they will be beginning probably within a couple of weeks the winter/spring session of this. It's just going to continue right on. So if you're interested in upgrading, you can do it for free with the exception of your time and the cost of the ARRL manual. And if you're not sure about it, drop me an email, k4pya@arrl.net, and I will send you all the details. I'm in it for the second go-around, mainly because my background is not electronics, and I think I might even pass the extra class exam this time around if the practice test are any indication. So again, if you're interested in upgrading, get a hold of me, k4pya@arrl.net, and I'll send you the details. Larry, thank you for hosting the net. 7-3 to everybody. This is K4PYA. Back over to W8SOX.
Okay, Robert, very good. Thank you for checking in as well, and thanks for that information on the extra class there. Hopefully, a lot of people will start thinking, well, upgrade. I know I want to upgrade, but I know I can't commit the time right now. But one day I will. We'll see what happens here. Again, thanks, Robert. We'll move on down the list now to W0SCA, Blake. Any final comments? And are you going to participate with Winter Field Day this year or not? Over to you there, Blake.
W8SOX, W0SCA. No, I have no plans on doing that. I'm not even entirely sure if any of the hand clubs around here actually participate in Winter Field Day or not. I'm not sure of it. But anyways, that's all I got. Back to net. W0SCA.
All right, Mike, very good. Thanks for checking in here, and we'll look for you throughout the week and maybe on next week's net as well. 7 degrees to you. All right, WB8E, Walt. How you doing this evening on their second go-around? Are you going to participate in Winter Field Day this year from home? Over to you, Walt.
WB80, you know, until you mentioned it, Larry, I hate to admit it, I didn't give it much thought. I'm ashamed of it. I'm ashamed of myself. Yeah, I know you'll tell me the exchange. I would appreciate it. I think it's 1-0. God, I can't remember. 1-0. Anyway, it sounds like a good idea. I'll have to look up the times. And I did participate in a few winter field days, but for various reasons, nothing against anybody, or I don't want to be with those people. It has nothing to do with personalities or attitude, but I just can't make it this year. And it's a shame because in previous years it was a real blast. And our buddy Robert there, K4 PYA, if you know anybody doing field day or you seek a people, show up there. You don't have to. You can just sit there. They need loggers. They need people to participate, and be part of it. I strongly urge you, if you got the time and the ability to take advantage of the fellowship, it's well worth it. But yeah, I think I will participate. I didn't give it much thought. I'm honest about it. Anyway, good topic. Robert had a good topic, and I enjoy this sort of thing, as you well know, Larry. And if you don't mind, I'll give you a call after the net. Okay? Back to you, Larry, WB80, on the phone I'm referring to.
Okay, well, yeah, no problem. And we'll look forward to the phone call there. And hopefully you can work from home there. All right, let's see here. VK4MSS, Mal. I don't know if you guys participate in Winter Field Day. I know it's a worldwide event, but who knows? But I don't know if you guys, if anyone over there actually knows about it. But Mal, over to you.
This is VK4MSS Mel. Good evening again there, Larry. And don't say that I've got some intelligence and I've learned how to remember. Not at all. I wrote it down. Crikey. I tell you what, Walt will understand when I say this business about getting old got nothing going for it. Well, except maybe the experience she got along the way. But it's all good fun. Thanks, Larry, for being there. Jolly good. And a nice net. It was a very interesting subject. Sitting here in the shack doing some, what would you call it, computer work. I've got the racetrack up on Google Earth, and I'm establishing points on it that other people need to know where they are. Some of them right down to about a metre square. It's all jolly good fun. I'm learning more about survey work now than I ever did. Not that I was ever a surveyor. But it's all good fun, and it was just good fun sitting here and listening to the Youth Zombie Alert Net. All good fun. And I look forward to being around again next Friday, my time, Friday morning, and being part of it. The rains are going to hopefully clear away a bit on Tuesday. Then we'll be back to stinking hot weather, and things will dry out at the track area, and I'll be able to get around with a GPS and make some more position markers. Yeah, it's all good fun. You wouldn't be dead for quids, eh? All right, back to you there, Larry, W8SOX, and all the gentlemen on the net this morning. I don't think I heard any ladies, but if I missed them, you're included in the salutation. Take it away there, Larry, and I'll be around next Friday. W8SOX, this is VK4MSS, in a quite wet Charters Towers, North Queensland.
Okay, Mel, very good. Yeah, great stories there. Hope it does cool off for you out there, and you get some relief from that hot weather there. You know, and speaking of writing things down, one of my favorite teachers I had cherished a sign that he had up in the middle of the room. And he always said, a short pencil is better than a long memory. I always remembered that. So, thanks for checking in, Mel, and glad you're still out there and about. With that, let's move on down the list to K8PDJ. I think you said you were New Ham, but if you haven't heard about Winter Field Day, that's understandable, but it's just another contest that a lot of amateur radio operators use. But K8PDJ, you going to participate in that? Darian, go ahead.
Okay, this is K8PDJ. No plans yet, but you did prompt me. I just joined the local ham club last week, so you did prompt me to get on to the website, and I'm poking around here, seeing if they have any plans for it, and if they do, maybe I will join. I do enjoy going outside all times of year and enjoying the outdoors, so I will check into that. One real quick funny winter story I forgot to mention. It was the winter of 1970, so I was about 4 years old, but it's kind of a family legend that we joke that I'm the youngest. I have a 6, 7, and a 10-year-old older siblings, and that was pretty much the winter they all realized there was no Santa. My single mother at the time had placed all the Christmas gifts in the trunk of the car. Woke up on Christmas morning and it was frozen shut. She could not get it open. Actually had to get a neighbor to come over. They tried pouring water on it. Could not get the presents out for the longest time. So kind of a funny story. My one question is, who exactly came up with the great name of the Zombie Alert Network? Okay, this is K8PDJ. Back to net. Thank you, Larry.
Very good. Well, that question gets asked a lot, and the answer is Pete. You'll hear him out here every now and then. His call sign is Alpha Alpha 8 Golf Kilowatt. He started the Zombie Alert Room, and it just took off from there. So a lot of people get their curiosity up here as far as what's going on out here and so forth. So. And we've always kept it that way too, so that's the story about that. And it's kind of been a catchy name for the room here. So, all right, Varian, thanks for checking in, and look forward to hearing you out here throughout the week, maybe next week's net as well. And we'll talk to you later. Let's move on down the list. ACA Zulu Delta. Chris, any final thoughts? And Winter Field Day, are you participating in it?
All right, let's see. I got it. Okay. Winter Field Day. I'm interested in it, but I can't make it out because I'm going to be busy with the kids here. But I would be interested to see if there's a way to participate from remote, though, or details of that, because I probably could log a few from home here. So with that, back to net. AC8ZD.
Okay, Dave. There is a way to do that, and KJEH would be able to tell you. He sent me a message, and I can't get to my messages right now because I'm rebooting everything, but there is a way, and you just use your call sign and submit the log under K8UO, I believe, and I think that's how you do it. But KJEH will be probably more happy to, if you can get a hold of him, he'll tell you, and go from there. If anything, I'll see if I can't find the information myself once that's over with. So, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be working from home. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit leery about heading up and putting antennas up and normally I wouldn't be, but I injured my leg, and I don't think being on unstable ground would help me any at all. So, or make things any better either. So, with that, thanks, and we'll see about whether anyone else has any information on that from working home. WAAD, Don, Winter Field Day, are you participating? Over to you, Don.
Net Control, this is WAAD. Yes, nice hearing all the different remarks and comments from people. I do plan on participating, but this year it's going to be at home. I had enough cold weather for this year already, and maybe next year will be a little bit different. Put a little bit more fat on my bones, get a little thicker, and be able to handle the cold a little bit better. But I think New York Field Day, I think I might have gone one time in my life, but I will go but this year. So this year I'm going to hang out at home. I'm going to give them all the points I can. I'm going to talk on radio and maybe do CW and give them a T8, whatever they want, I'll throw it all at them. But this year's going to be at home. So with that, I'll say 73 to all. Real good net tonight, and I will talk to you later. 73 from WAE and back to net.
All right, Don. Good to hear from you. Thanks for checking in. And yes, you can work from home. And if you don't want to keep a log, or you want to keep a log, but if you don't want to turn them in, just help others make contacts for you. There's a Winter Field Day website too, by the way, for anyone who wants. I just thought about that too. So, and then all the rules and stuff are right there on their page. But if you're interested, we would like to have, I guess, the logs turned into USECA for extra points too. So with that, KI8M was out, and next on the list is Chuck, N8ZA. I think you're participating in Winter Field Day this year, right? Over to you, Chuck.
All right, there, Larry. Very good. Fantastic. Ned, I kind of missed your whole advice about dating there, short pencil and something. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for doing the net. Yeah, I will be at Winter Field Day. And yes, you can append the USECA, USECA, the USECA Club, to your log sheet when you send it in. You could contact Jerry, maybe. That's N8KLX, November 8 Kilo Lima X-ray, N8KLX, or even post it on the Winter Field Day site on Facebook there. But there is a way to do that. And or even ask on our Facebook group. And yeah, I'll be up there helping put up antennas and all that kind of stuff, so that's going to be great. Not a big group this year, all kinds of stuff's going on, so it's kind of a smaller group, but in past histories we've had a large group of people. Of course, our field day is way north of Detroit in the Lexington area, and it's beautiful. We're on Lake Huron. There's a shipwreck right on the property there, old schooner. It's just very, very cool. If you come up to visit, it's $10. If you can spend a night, it's $25. Of course, you better bring some blankets and a pillow. But we don't keep any of the funds. That all goes to the Camp Cavell, because we are burning their electricity and we are burning their heat, and what we give is not enough to take care of that. So they are so kind to us to give us this opportunity to use their place. So we are so grateful for that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's always a blast, a lot of good fun, and yeah, that's what that's all about. The weather's going to hold out for us. It's no fun if, it's a sketchy drive up there, but that's not going to be the case. So it's going to be very, very cool to be up there. So yeah, give some points away. Nothing wrong with that. That's what it's all about. Get out of here for a little bit. Larry, thanks for doing the net. Doing a fantastic job. Back to net control. N8ZA.
Okay, Chuck, very good. And let's not forget how quiet the bands are up there too, and with a lot less noise up in that area for HF propagation, I guess. And hopefully it will be the same this year on beautiful Lake Huron, where you can catch some beautiful, beautiful sunrises in the morning there too. So real fun weekend, great place, and heck, you couldn't even find a hotel room for $25. So what do you care? And by the way, Chuck, that wasn't dating in a short pencil. That was short pencils better than a long memory. So, all right. Let's see. Let's go down the list to Brenda, N8AQ. Brenda, are you participating in Winter Field Day this year? Over to you.
Yeah, Larry. I probably won't. I'm still trying to rearrange radio equipment here, so I'm just trying to get back on these nets and that, and start getting in contact with people. So it's nice to hear you, and you're doing a great job. And hopefully I'll catch you next week. This is N8AQ 73 Saul, and back to net control.
Okay, Brenda, very good. And yeah, I hope we hear you before next week. But thanks for checking in, anyways. And we'll look forward to hearing you anytime soon. Let's go down the list. K7TT. You going to be participating in any Winter Field Day activities this year, or what are you?
Thank you, Larry. KT7TT here. Yeah, it's coming up, and our club normally has a regular spot we go to, but apparently somebody switched dates with us, and they didn't tell us. And anyway, we lost our spot. So they are in the process of looking for a new location. But really, you go out anywhere in the desert away from all the houses and power lines, and it's a great place to be. So I'm sure we'll find something. So it's just a matter of which radio I'm going to take out there, and I better work and see if I can get my generator going. So we're looking forward to it. So with that, I'm going to say 73 to everyone, and have a good evening. We'll do it again next Thursday from KT7TT. Back to net.
Okay, Mark, well, I hope you find another place there. And you never know, it might be better than the one you had. But hopefully everything will work out for you. And maybe we can even make contact on HF. We'll see what happens there. All right, thanks for checking in there. And the bottom of the list here is Donna, N8QRP. Donna, you're going to be participating in Winter Field Day this year. Over to you. Okay, I guess I'm probably not around or had something going on there. All right, if we have any more check-ins for the net, please come with your call sign and name. Last minute check-ins, please come now. All right, hearing nothing, I guess this will conclude this week's Zombie Alert UC Confusion Net. I want to thank everyone for checking in, and we'll look forward to hearing you again next week, same time, same place, if not throughout the week here on the Zombie Alert. Till then, 73 is all. We'll turn all repeaters and nodes back to normal amateur use. This is W8SOX.